From Washington, this is VOA News. Two state capitals in Nigeria come under militant attack, and Hong Kong student activists try a new tactic in their campaign for greater democracy. I'm Michael Lipin. Suspected Islamic militants have attacked two Nigerian state capitals in the country's northeast, targeting a crowded market and a police facility. In one of Monday's incidents, witnesses in the Borno state capital of Maiduguri said two explosions hit the same market where two female suicide bombers killed dozens of people a week ago. The witnesses said at least 5 people were killed in the latest attack. Earlier, suspected Boko Haram militants attacked a police facility in the Yobi state capital of Damaturu, prompting residents to flee into the bush. A Nigerian Defense Ministry spokesman told reporters that ground and air forces were fighting off the militants in Damaturu. 3 Hong Kong student leaders have started what they call an indefinite hunger strike to pressure the government to make concessions on democratic reforms. The 3 activists declared the hunger strike late Monday, hours after leading a failed attempt by pro-democracy protesters to besiege the government's Hong Kong Island headquarters. Thousands of police used batons, pepper spray, and water spray to stop hundreds of demonstrators from breaching a protective cordon around the government complex early Monday and late Sunday. Several protesters and police were injured in the confrontation. Police accused some radical protesters of assaulting the officers. At least 18 protesters were arrested. The demonstrators have been demanding what they call a genuine democratic election for Hong Kong's leader in 2017. You're listening to VOA News. The World Health Organization says health workers in West Africa have partially succeeded in meeting 2 of its targets for fighting the Ebola virus. By December 1st, the UN agency had called for medical treatment to be provided to 70% of people infected with Ebola and for safe burials to be conducted for 70% of Ebola fatalities. Lisa Schlein has this update from WHO headquarters in Geneva.
WHO officials think more than 70% of those ill with Ebola are in treatment in Liberia and Guinea. However, the WHO notes Sierra Leone falls short of this goal. It says the 70% target is probably being met in most places, but a number of hotspots remain in the western part of the country. WHO Assistant Director General Bruce Aylward says there is some good news on the second goal.
In all 3 countries, it's clear now that more than 70% of the Ebola deaths that we know about are buried safely. And this is because in the past 60 days, the number of safe burial teams has more than doubled from probably less than 100 or thereabouts to nearly 200 or just over. I think we're squeaking in at 202.
While significant progress has been made toward the 70-70 goal, Aylward says that is not good enough to stop Ebola. Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon is praising the progress the world has made in combating AIDS, but also warns that gains remain fragile. In a statement marking World AIDS Day on Monday, Mr. Ban highlighted the importance of improving access to medical treatment, particularly for infected children and young women. The UN chief urged world leaders to do what is necessary to reach a goal of eradicating AIDS by 2030. Worldwide, an estimated 35 million people are living with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. U.S. President Barack Obama is calling for millions of dollars more in federal spending to improve the functioning of police forces across the country. He made the appeal on Monday in response to the fatal August shooting of an unarmed black teenager by a white policeman during a street confrontation in the central town of Ferguson, Missouri. Mr. Obama announced a proposal to provide $260 million to police forces across the U.S. He also said the country needs an honest conversation about the state of law enforcement. The president said Americans of color do not feel that they are being treated fairly by police, creating what he called a simmering distrust in communities and weakening the country. I'm Michael Lipin reporting from Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.